These videos are brought to you by MSCCasino.com and the Macau Sporting Club. MSCCasino.com, check it out. Also, be sure to check out PF Painters and their website, pfpainters.com.
You are watching Sports Matters TV.
I'm good, thank you, brother. I'm glad to be chatting to you, man.
Yeah, it's been a while, my man. Listen, it's been a crazy couple of months for you. I was lucky enough to speak to you in Dublin at OTT. You had an epic match against Robbie X, but listen, you've gone from strength to strength, Leon. Strength to strength, my man, and it's showing, it's paying off. Probably one of the youngest and the biggest stars in all of world wrestling right now. But what does it feel like to be, I suppose, the TNA X Division champion? First of all, my man, again.
It's a beautiful feeling, man. I'm not gonna lie. I feel blessed that every day I wake up, I look at the belt, I shine it up. You know what I'm saying? I let not the sun, because you know how the UK weather is. You know what I'm saying? We've had rain every day this year. But I'll let the raindrops bounce off it a little bit. It's a beautiful feeling to be the X Division champion, man, and especially like you were saying, all the work I've been putting in over the past couple of years, whether it was at OTT or Rev Pro or all of the independents around the world. It feels good to have to wake up to a reward like the X Division Championship every single day.
Definitely. No, what was a young Leon Slater up to in the early days? I suppose that's like, you're still so young, but like, what was a 13-year-old Leon Slater up to? Obviously, look, were you a big wrestling fan?
I was training by that point. Yeah. A young Leon Slater was in the ring, running the ropes, doing 450s, taking bumps. Again, man, I've been super blessed to be on the journey that I've been on. I was very lucky to find a spot that would let me train. At 9 years old, actually, I took my first session, or a week before I was 10. And so ever since then, man, wrestling's been my life. Wrestling's been my life for as long as I can remember, whether it was, when my cousin handed me down the action figures, the video games, the DVDs, whether it was training super young. I have been obsessed with this since day dot, so it feels good to be in the position I am right now, 100%.
And look, a lot of hard work. I think everyone that would have seen you in the early days would have said, look, Leon Slater's going to go on to mega things. And rightly so. You put in the hard work. You had star-studded matches every week. That indie scene, Leon, is very, very important. We talk about the indie scene in the UK and Ireland. It's incredible. And like, what did that mean to you to build the fundamentals to, I suppose, move up to that next stage and join TNA?
Again, man, I was super blessed to be a part of that process, because I came into British wrestling at a strange time where it was just after Speaking Out, it was just after NXT UK. So all of the really established stars had kind of been wiped out, you know what I mean? So it was on us, it was on myself, man like DeReese, Dan Maloney, the Lycos guys, Connor Mills, Michael Oku, and I'm sure I'm missing much more. It was kind of our shoulders as the young guys to rebuild this scene from pretty much nothing again after COVID to where it is now, which I believe is at the same height, if not at a bigger height, quality wise at least, as like the Brit Rest boom, if you want to call it, you know what I mean? So it didn't feel like hard work, I'll be honest. It didn't feel like hard work because we're all so close, you know what I'm saying? Because the UK is so small compared to the States, you're seeing the same people every weekend. You go into these shows and seeing, you're working with the same people a lot of the time. So I think the team and the squad and the brotherhood that we have in the UK at the minute is something super special. And I'm just glad I was a part of it, and I'm glad it was a part of my journey to get to TNA.
And look, as you say, you mentioned so many incredible names, and yet again, look, we've been blessed to see them in the UK at OTT in Ireland. But yet again, look, you mentioned like so many names. Like, man like DeReese, first of all, look, a guy that we've seen in Cork, in Dublin. What a specimen! What a man! What a star! You look at Luke Jacobs. You look at all these stars.
Luke's another one. Yeah.
It's incredible, but I generally believe that we're going to see a massive takeover in America from the UK stars. I reckon that we're so close to seeing main events upon main events of just all English, UK, and Irish stars.
100%, man. Like I truly believe, quality-wise, as far as the independents go, the British wrestling scene blows every other scene out of the water, and I will go to back for that every single day of the week. I think being on an island 5,000 miles away from every major TV company definitely doesn't help us out, but that's the fire under our ass that we need over here in the UK. You know what I mean? It spurred me to get signed to TNA. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more that are following me, not only in TNA, but in other major companies as well, right? Like, we just seen a whole crop of European guys get signed to NXT, whether that's Zoya, whether that's Ilio LaFleur, that's just been popping off at NXT, whether that's Mike D, who's still waiting in the wings. The European scene, quality-wise, I feel is the best in the world, and I feel like Britain, whether that's Ireland, or England or Wales or Scotland or wherever you want to look, I feel like we're at the pinnacle of that, and we're leading the charge forward.
Most definitely. I'd say we're extremely close to getting a pay-per-view TNA in the UK. Obviously, we've seen a lot of stuff at the moment with WWE. They brought the first SmackDown and Raw live to Dublin and Belfast. But I reckon maybe this could be the year, maybe next year, that we'll have a TNA pay-per-view live in the UK.
I really hope so, man. I gotta get Carlos on the phone. I gotta start scheming, planning, but that's most definitely gotta happen. I remember the last UK tour was actually where I got signed. So that's a real fond memory for me. And I've come a long way from where I got signed in Coventry. Obviously, I'm the X Division champion now. So I'd be super happy to kind of lead the charge back into the UK for another pay-per-view, because I think we have a super solid fan base here, man. Like, I've said it myself many times. I grew up as a TNA kid. I think for a lot of us that didn't have the Sky Sports and the other major cable channels, TNA was what we grew up on a week-to-week basis, you know. Like, obviously, we had me personally, I had the WWE video games, the action figures, like I was saying, but on a week-to-week basis, I was watching TNA, man, and I feel like that fan base is still very deeply rooted over here. So I think it's only fair that the folks in the UK get a TNA pay-per-view at some point this year.
Definitely. Now, speaking of your own fan base, Leon, we talk your fan base is incredible. You know, like, it's gone from strength to strength. Knowing that, I suppose, any time that we have someone on from TNA, when it comes to a star, they always talk about you, because we always name drop the UK and Ireland. But what does your fan base mean to you? Because look, it's growing in legions, and you've got an incredible fan base. What would that mean to you personally, to have so many followers and so much support?
It's a really crazy feeling, man, because I always pictured myself being a wrestler. You know what I mean? That's what I always wanted when I was a kid, and now I am living that dream. But I never really pictured all the things that would come with it, the negative and the positive. You know what I mean? But the fan base and the support is most definitely a positive. It's getting to the point now where, like, I can't even walk around Bradford. I was walking into Morrison's yesterday, actually, the supermarket over here, and this guy pulls me aside and he goes, "You're that wrestler guy, right? Like, you're on TNA, WWE." I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's me." And like, for me, I'm just Leon. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see myself as some crazy famous guy, but it's kind of getting to the point now where I'm getting recognized more and more, which is super cool. And you know, it sounds super cliche, but I wouldn't be where I am without people supporting me. If it wasn't for people like yourself spreading the word, people that are showing up to Brit Rest shows, Irish shows every single weekend, putting the name out on Twitter, clipping the videos from the show, spreading the awareness of what we got going on over here, I wouldn't be the X Division champion. I wouldn't be talking to you right now, and I wouldn't get to live the amazing life that I'm getting to live at such a young age. You know what I mean? So I will forever be indebted and thankful for all the people that supported me on the way so far and heading into the future.
Yeah, it's well deserved. And you mentioned obviously the Irish shows. Yet again, look, you've been over here in Ireland. You know what it's all about. There's some incredible stars here in Ireland. I know you're fairly observant, but is there anyone you have a close eye on in Ireland that could potentially go all the way? We know there's LJ Clary, there's so many big names, but listen, we'd love to see more TNA stars, no more Irish stars in TNA. Do you reckon there's anyone that we should watch out for and the world should watch out for to make that crossover?
100%, man. Like, it's funny that you mentioned LJ, because he was the first person that come to mind. He is Ireland's MVP, 100%. But if we're looking outside of that, like, LJ's doing a great job beating America, getting himself some buzz. But I feel like as far as people that are in Ireland right now, I really like Cian Noonan, man. I think he's super special. I've seen a couple of his clips at OTT, a couple of his clips. I think it's RCW over there in Ireland. And I think he's incredible, man. So who knows? We might see Keir Noonan versus Leon Slater for the X Division Championship one day. I hope so.
I love it. And I'm glad you mentioned RCW because we just covered a big show over the weekend with RCW in Cork. Would you be open to defending that X Division Championship at RCW maybe?
100%, man. 100%. You know, I'm open to any and all challenges. The only thing for me is the challenger has to be worthy. You know what I'm saying? The challenger has to be an X Division caliber wrestler, which you have no shortage of in Ireland. So if RCW is listening out for this, I'm 100% down. Let's make it happen.
I love it. Now, listen, we have to mention WWE. Obviously, we're lucky enough to see it kind of over with NXT and doing a bit there. Obviously, that's a great thing, Leon, because as you know, being a fan, years ago, we would have never thought we'd see the day where WWE would collaborate with TNA. Now they're best friends. Now it makes sense. It's great for business. What is it like to, I suppose, get to do a bit of work over there as well?
It's for me, it's living the dream, man. It really is. Like again, like I was saying before, it was TNA and it was WWE for me growing up. So to get to work there, and not only work there, but like meet everyone I've grown up watching. You know what I mean? Like when I did SmackDown the other day, I just walked in the locker room and Randy Orton's just sat there. You know what I mean? So for me, it's super super cool, man. And you know, just the platform that they have and the audience that they have has helped me tenfold, and that's not even touching on everything I've learned down there in NXT from the coaches and the talent there. You know what I mean? So for me, it's been nothing but a positive experience so far, and I hope the partnership continues to go strong so we can carry on making history. You know.
And what was Randy like? Did he any words with Randy, or is he just kind of giving you the nod?
No, that guy was a G. That guy is a G, man. I was really, really nervous to meet Randy because obviously it's Randy Orton, you know what I mean? Like I grew up watching him. But I introduced myself. He was super cool. He wished me good luck in my match. I asked him for match feedback after, and he was super cool with his time and talking to me. So yeah, man, Randy's a G.
He is. Now, we thought you were going to end up at the Royal Rumble because obviously we're kind of saying, over the years we've seen things happen with the Royal Rumble. Was there any approach? Was it something that you maybe thought might have happened, or was it just look one of them things?
I think it's just one of them things for this year at least. You know what I'm saying? As we've seen, we had Mickey James in the Rumble, we had Jordan Grace in the Rumble, we had Joe Hendry in the Rumble, which were all TNA talents at the time. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's going to be long until a couple more of us follow in their footsteps. I definitely think the flight to Saudi Arabia may have played a factor. You know what I mean? But nothing happened this year, but that doesn't mean that nothing's going to happen in the next year and the year after that. I'm sure you'll see more representation from TNA as the years goes on.
Unbelievable. Now, look, we have to talk no surrender. It is fast approaching. Yet again, you're teaming with Mike Santana to take on Nick Nemeth and Eddie Edwards. What's your thoughts on that? Look, it's going to be unreal. Nashville, Tennessee, another place for you to visit and explore, but that's going to be a huge one, no surrender.
Absolutely, man. And the fact that it's in Nashville is super, super special for me because the last time I wrestled in Nashville was the first time I challenged for the X Division title against Speedball Mike Bailey at the time. And that is one of my favorite matches I've ever had. And obviously, Nashville's super important to TNA as well. A lot of the early TNA tapings were based there. I think TNA headquarters is still based there. So Nashville holds a super place, a super special place in TNA's heart. And that's not even touching on the crazy match that I'm in. I'm teaming with the world champion Mike Santana against the legend Nick Nemeth and legend in Eddie Edwards. All strangers too. I've mixed up with all of these guys multiple times. And you know, after this little absence that I've had due to a couple visa issues, this and that's all sorted now. I'm chomping at the bit to get back in and prove why the youngest in charge is one of the leading faces at TNA.
And look, you've already got one belt, a prestigious belt in all of World Wrestling, an X Division Championship. But what's your thoughts on that TNA World Heavyweight Championship? Now, I'm not trying to stir the pot because I know you're teaming with Mike in Nashville, but obviously that's something you'd like to capture in due course, and I'm sure it's only a matter of time before you get that opportunity.
That belt's looking shinier and shinier by the day for me, man. I swear. You know, the TNA World Championship is it's legendary, man. The amount of names and legends that have held that belt is just insane. Just the same as the X Division, right? Both super prestigious titles. But the cool thing with being X Division champion is I always have option C in my back pocket. I think the other day I just hit being the fourth longest reigning X Division champion of all time, which for me is a super cool stat. I'm all about breaking records. I'm all about making history. I'm already the youngest X Division champion. In a perfect world, I would love to be the longest X Division champion of all time, smash that record, get that in the books, cash in option C, and become the youngest TNA world champion of all time by the end of 2025. But again, wrestling is far from a perfect world, but that's the goal for this year for sure.
Most definitely. And look, we mentioned that roster. Obviously, look, that roster is packed. It is incredible. We're talking some of the best in all of world wrestling. We mentioned the Hardy Boys. What kind of words have you had with Jeff and Matt? Have they been helpful? I know obviously they praise you quite a bit, but obviously look, they're great lads to see around the place and great for knowledge and advice.
100%, man. Like, and I think the coolest thing about getting to work with Matt and Jeff so much for me is even like outside of the ring, you know what I mean? Of course, it's incredible to team with my literal childhood idols. Matt and Jeff for me were 1A and 1B growing up, you know what I mean? So of course that aspect of it is incredible, but getting to know them personally outside of the ring and getting to just, you know, pick their brain on life stuff, you know, on learning how to handle the kind of fame and fortune that comes with wrestling, learning how to be smarter with what I do in the ring and picking and choosing when I do my crazy stunts like the Swanton 450 and things like that, you know. That has been a super special thing for me because not a lot of people get to say that they know Matt and Jeff like that, and especially at this point in their career where I've said it before, but they'll tell you themselves, Matt and Jeff have more behind them than they do in front, and they're very aware of that. So this time that they have left is very valuable, you know what I mean? And it's very limited. So I feel super blessed and super fortunate that I've got to sit in under their learning tree in such a important point in my career and their career. You know what I mean? And I think the things I've learned from Matt and Jeff are really going to shape my career going forward.
Most definitely. And look, Thursday night Impact, it's something everyone's talking about, but so much to look forward to. Obviously, many dates. Obviously, we've got Atlanta, New Orleans. Yet again, new places to go and visit, but it's non-stop and the ticket sales are incredible. Same with No Surrender. Obviously, look, TNA is the place to be right now, and obviously TNA Plus is another bonus for all the fans.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. We got a bunch of big events coming up. Like you said, new towns to make, new people to impress. And I'm looking forward to it. TNA is on a roll right now, man, especially since we debuted on AMC there, which I'm yet to be a part of. You know, due to the visa issues, I haven't been a part of this new era of TNA yet. And I'm, like I said, chomping at the bit to get back in the mix. So I'm excited for Atlanta. I'm excited for No Surrender in Nashville. And I'm excited for New Orleans going forward as well.
How close do you reckon we are? Because we obviously, I mentioned at the start of this interview that we're hoping for that TNA pay-per-view. But do you reckon that we get TNA back to the UK in 2026? Because if someone's going to make it happen, Leon, it's going to be you. Even if it's just a show where the fans get to come watch something, do you reckon we'll get it this year? Surely there's some talk because the rumor mill, you know, the rumor mill could be a crazy thing, but a lot of people reckon that we will get TNA in the UK this year. Do you reckon this could be the year we get it back?
I'm really hoping so, man. I feel like it's long overdue. You know, we've been away for 3 years. And like you said, I feel like if there's a reason to come back to the UK, why not come back to the X Division champion's hometown, right? So don't get me wrong. I'm in Carlos's ear. I'm in management's ear. I'm in the office's ear. I'm trying to make this happen. Whether it happens this year, early next year, maybe spring next year, maybe late this year, I am yet to find out, just like you guys. But I think the more we keep saying it, the more we create buzz around it, the more we manifest it, put it out into the universe, the more likely it's going to happen, my man.
TNA in Bradford City. Oh my God, that sounds beautiful. That sounds beautiful.
That would be crazy. That would be crazy. And Bradford just opened a new venue too. Bradford Live just opened up. That's a big venue that we could fill out. That would be pretty sick. That would be pretty sick.
Leon Slater versus Mike Santana for the World Heavyweight Championship. Imagine that.
Oh, a boy can dream. A boy can dream. You know what I mean?
Listen, it's going to happen. Last question for me, Leon. Last question for all the young kids coming through the ranks right now. All the young teenagers, they want to follow in your footsteps. What advice can you give to them, my man? Because look, obviously it's a tough industry. You have to learn fast, but if you believe it, you know, you can do it. But what advice can you give to all the young people coming through today?
I think my biggest piece of advice, and something that I try and employ every day in my own life, has been trying to work on every aspect of the game. I feel like there's such a big focus on the in-ring side of wrestling in 2026 that people forget about the other stuff, especially coming up, right? And don't get me wrong, being a good in-ring wrestler is paramount. It is very, 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 very important. But so is having a good promo. So is having good gear. So is being in good shape. You know what I'm saying? I always try and make sure that I'm a five-tool player, as they say over in the States. You know what I mean? And if TNA need me to do something, if they need me to hop on an in-ring promo, boom, I'm there. If they need me to do a backstage promo, boom, I'm there. Leon, we need you to model this new merch, boom, I'm there. Leon, we need you to fix your gear up, okay, boom, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? So that's always been very, very important to me. And I think something for any UK folks that are watching this, something that I've always tried to do is be unique. Like, for example, nobody wears the same jacket as me. Nobody has the same gear formation as me with the baggy pants and the kind of flaps there on the side. Nobody does the same moves as me. Nobody has the same entrance. You know what I mean? I'm always trying to be completely unique, to toot my own horn there a little bit. But the reason I say this is because if you're looking from the UK, like I said earlier, we're 5,000 miles away. That flight is not cheap. That visa is not cheap. If you want to be on American TV, you have to give these companies a reason to choose you over an American, for example, or a Canadian, for example, where it's going to be much, much, much easier. So if they can find a carbon copy of you that talks the same, looks the same, has the same gear, does the same moves in America, why would they just not use the American, right? Which is, again, it's nothing against the American scene. There's a bunch of talented guys out there, but being from the UK, we're automatically on the back foot and that kind of a disadvantage. You know what I mean? So we have to find ways to kind of spice things up and be a little bit more different. And this isn't me saying you have to reinvent the wheel and come up with a Swanton 720 to the outside that no one's ever seen before. There's so many little nuances in our culture that I feel people can draw from that makes us different from the Americans, you know what I mean, or from people from elsewhere in the world. You see it in my promos a lot with the Ras class and the Bumba class and all that type of stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I try and take from our culture as much as I possibly can, and I think that's helped me a lot on my journey so far. So what I'm trying to say there, as much as I rambled on, is try and be unique and try and be a five-tool player.
I love it. Leon, listen, my man, it's a pleasure as always. I'm looking forward to catching up with you this year, and keep up the great work, my man. You're an inspiration to many and us as well, and we'll see you this year, my man. Thank you.
Absolutely, Jerry. I appreciate you. Thank you.